Hi, do you find balancing chemical equations very difficult? Then welcome to Chemistry Made Easy. Today we are going to look at how to balance chemical equations. We are going to look at how to balance chemical equations using two methods. The first method, I call it the guess method, and then the next method is using simultaneous equations. Let's see how we're going to do that through some examples. So let's take an example. So for instance, if I have Zn reacting with HCl to give me ZnCl2 plus H2. How are we going to balance this chemical equation using the guess method? So what we are going to do is that we are going to write our left-hand side elements. So the atoms we see on the left-hand side, we write them out. So I have Zn. How many atoms? There is 1. Then H, there is 1. Then Cl, there is equally 1. And I go to the right-hand side. The right-hand side is our product side, okay, while the left-hand side is the reactant side. So on the product side, I'm equally going to write the same element as C. So I have Zn here, I have 1. Then I have H, which is 2 atoms. Then I have Cl, which is equally 2. Now to balance a chemical equation, the place you are entitled to write your integers to make it balance is in front of the element or the compound. So these are the places you are entitled to write the numbers that will make your chemical equation balance. Okay, you're not entitled to come and write unless the compound, that's how it looks like. Okay, so now if I look at Zn, which is zinc, it's balanced for both reactants and products. But when I look at H, the H is not balanced. I have 1 atom here, I have 2, because they have to be the same number of atoms. Okay, so I am going to add 1 hydrogen to this side. So when I add 1 hydrogen, I'm going to get 2. So that means that in front of this HCl, I'm going to put 2 here. So when I put 2 in front of the hydrogen, now hydrogen becomes 2, and the product side also becomes 2. Then I'm going to, the 2 affects the chlorine. So here chlorine changes from 1 to 2. So you see that this equation is now balanced. So that is how we balance chemical equations using the guessing method. Now let's look at how to use the simultaneous equation method. In using simultaneous equations, we are going to put variables in front of our element or compound. So here I'm going to write A, B, C, and then D. Then I write out my elements, Zn. Now, in front of Zn, what variable do I see? I see A. So I'm going to represent Zn with A. Is there any other Zn at the reactant side? No. So I cross to this side. So when I'm crossing over you by the arrow, so I'll introduce an equal to sign. I equally see Zn here, which is what? C. So I'll represent that by C. So I take that as equation 1 because there's no other Zn here. Then I go to the next, which is H. For my H, the variable there is B. There is no other H, so I cross the equal to sign. So another H is here, 2 atoms. So we multiply that 2 by D. I'm going to get 2D, equation 2. Then the last is Cl. Cl have B in front of it, so I'm going to get B, then it's equal to, when I cross, I have Cl 2 atoms, so I have 2C. That is equation 3. Now, the next step is that after you have derived your equations, always you will say, let your A be equal to 1. So every time the first variable A, you always take it to be 1 for all equations, okay? So if my A is equal to 1, that means when I put A equal 1 into equation 1, I'm going to get C to be equal to 1. So I have gotten my A and my C. Now I'm looking for B and D. Now I can put C equal 1 into equation 3. So I'm going to get B to be equal to 2 into bracket 1. So B will be equal to 2. Now I've gotten B, C, and then A. So I'm left with D. So I can say put B equal to into equation 2. So I'm going to get B, which is now 2. So 2 is equal to 2D. I will get 2D to be equal to 2. I divide here by 2. I'm going to get D to be equal to 1. So I have now gotten all my variables, which is A, B, C, D. So I'm going to substitute it in the equation. So I'm going to get my Zn is 1. We don't write 1, so I have Zn plus B is 2. I'm going to get 2HCl to give me C is 1. So I don't write the 1, ZnCl2. Then D is equal to 1. So I just have H2. This becomes the balanced chemical equation using the simultaneous equation method. I hope you understood. Let's try one last example. This time we are using a word equation. Magnesium chloride reacts with sodium trioxocarbonate 4 to produce magnesium trioxocarbonate 4 and sodium chloride. So this is a word equation. So we're told that magnesium chloride reacted with sodium trioxocarbonate 4 to produce magnesium carbonate and sodium chloride. So we want to find out if this equation is balanced or not. So I have my left hand side and my right hand side. So we're using the guess method. So I have Mg, here is 1, Cl is 2, or you have 2 atoms here. Mg is 1 atom. Sodium, we have 2 atoms. Carbon, we have 1 atom. Oxygen, we have 3 atoms. Then we'll repeat saying magnesium for the product side is 1. Chlorine is 1. Sodium is 1. Carbon is 1. Oxygen is 3. So let's check if it's balanced. Magnesium is balanced. Chlorine is not. Sodium is not. So this means that this equation is not balanced. So let's balance that. So when I look at chlorine, here is 2. Chlorine here is 1. So I'm going to put 1 here. So I'm going to get 2 chlorine atoms. So I'll come and put 2 in front of this chlorine, this sodium chloride. And then I'm going to now have chlorine to be 2. Sodium will automatically change to 2. So now the equation is balanced. So this is using the guess method. Let's try the simultaneous equation method also with this. So we are going to have A, B, C, and D. So for magnesium, I have A. There's no other magnesium here, so equal to. There's magnesium here, I have C. So that's equation 1. The next one, I have chlorine. So I have 2 atoms of chlorine, so we are going to get 2A. There's no chlorine here, so equal to. The chlorine here is D, so D times 1 is D. So equation 2. The next is sodium. I have 2 atoms of sodium, so that would be 2B. There's no sodium, so equal to, the next is here. So I have D, equation 3. The next is carbon, which is 1 atom, so I have B equal. Then go here. There's another carbon here, so it's C, equation 4. Then the last one is oxygen. Where is oxygen? Is here 3 atoms, so 3 times B, so I have 3B equal. The next one is oxygen is here, so 3 atoms, so I have 3C, equation 5. So I will say let A be equal to 1. So if I have A to be equal to 1, I'm going to have C to be equal to 1. So I'll say put A equal 1 into equation 1. So C will be equal to 1. So now I know A and C. I can put A equal 1 in equation 2. So I'll say put A equal 1 into equation 2. So I'm going to get D is equal to 2, 1. D will be equal to 2. Then the next one, I know D to be 2, so I can say put D equal to into equation 3. So I'm going to get 2B to be equal to 2. So B will be equal to 2 over 2, which is 1. I know A, I know B, so I can equally find, I know C, so what is left? So I know A, B, C, D, so that's all. So let's substitute that in the equation. So when we write out the chemical equation, it's now going to become, so we're now going to get it as A is 1, so we don't write 1, so our compound now becomes MgCl2 plus B is 1, we don't write 1, we get Na2CO3 to give us C is equally 1, we don't write that, so we write MgCO3 plus D is 2, so we have 2 NaCl. This becomes the balanced chemical equation using the simultaneous equation method. So you can try out other examples and you let me know in the comment section. So if you enjoyed this lesson, I urge you to share, hit the notification button, and then like and subscribe.